All right, welcome back to number 4 of Call to the Pen. Obviously, we are still at home, very far away from each other. Okay, we interrupt our previously recorded program to bring you breaking news. The MLB and its players are focused on a plan that could allow the season to start as early as May. This plan has the support of public health officials who believe the league can safely operate amidst the coronavirus. So essentially, all 30 teams would play games at the stadium with no fans in the Phoenix area. So that would include the regular Phoenix Stadium as well as some additional stadiums in the area. So players, coaching staff, and essential personnel would essentially be sequestered at hotels, living in relative isolation, only traveling to and from the stadium. They still haven't settled on one particular contingency plan, but how do you guys feel about this so far?
I don't know how 30 teams are going to play in one state. I mean, I get the idea of using Chase Stadium as maybe you play like 2 to 3 games in one day, then use some of the minor league parks, then use some of the college stadiums.
And spring training facilities too, I think, is why they have like 10 fields nearby Chase Stadium for spring training.
Yeah. I don't know the exact logistics of it all, how it would pan out in terms of trying to figure out where each team plays or if there's a home stadium per se, aside from the Diamondbacks. But I don't know if this is a push just to get baseball in May. Maybe it could wait until June.
Yeah.
What about you, Finn?
I don't think it's any coincidence that this broke just after midnight on the East Coast last night, because I think they wanted to get the temperature of the people beforehand, before actually making official statements, because this morning they kind of backtracked a little bit, and in the Daily News, it was MLB addresses reports of May launch in Arizona. Numerous contingency plans. Quote, MLB has been actively considering numerous contingency plans that would allow play to commence once the public health situation has improved to the point that it is safe to do so. While we have discussed the idea of staging games at one location as one potential option, we have not settled on that option or developed a detailed plan. Now, to me, that's a little bit of backtracking, because while there's a numerous amounts of fans out there last night who were online going like, yeah, it's great, we want baseball back, there's some selfish people out there. And there's some selfish business people out there. And if we ever had to wonder what owners and commissioners actually think about the everyday person and even their product on the field, this is a prime example of it, in my opinion. To have 1,200 guys, you assume you're going to have the entire 40-man roster there, not just the 26 roster, because what if someone gets sick? What if someone gets injured? They all have to be. It's like when you have a jury and then the supplemental jury.
They did disclose in the post last night that in the event that someone did test positive, that wouldn't necessarily be cause to quarantine an entire team and shut down the whole season. Their whole plan is to essentially expand the roster significantly to help with that and to offset who they would need to pull out, to test, to quarantine, and the like. So,
which is absolutely fucking crazy, because you gotta.
I completely agree.
Because here's the thing:
you're putting everyone at risk.
They're a bunch of boys. That you cannot say if out of 1,200 people, 1,200 people is 40-man rosters on 30 teams. I'm not good at the math, but you can't tell me you're going to have 1,200 guys in one state who are being torn away from their families for upwards of, the article said, 4.5 months, maybe longer. You have, or just life in general, they're going to want to get together. They're going to want to have parties. You're telling me you're going to have chaperones like it's a league of their own, where they're like, no, you can't go into his room, and you can't go into his room. No, they're going to hang out together, and you cannot say that if one guy gets sick, oh, we can continue going. And they talked about in the article having like maybe a 3-week prep for like a 3-week testing period, beta period, a new spring training to see if this would actually work and what the health rate would be. It's lambs to the slaughter. It's the canary in the cave. And you know, with these guys, I did the math. If the $170 million they put towards it, they're still going to be making about $140,000 a year per 40-man roster player. if they all got an equal share. They're good for the year. I know they want to play. I know they want their money. I know they want to prove for free agency and whatnot. But there are people dying out there. And to be like, you have the president who's like, let's get back to business. You got the New York governor who's like, let's start talking about reopening things. But yesterday, New York had the most deaths of any day. This is not over yet. And to think about bringing sports back, well, it's a great fantasy, and we all would love to see it back. It is not time to do this. And they're saying, oh, they'll do social distancing. Maybe they won't be in the dugout. Maybe the players will sit in the stands. How are you going to social distance at the plate with the catcher and the batter? Yes, they're saying the electronic strike zone so the ump can be 10 feet away. But at first base, you're not going to hold the guy on? At what point are you sacrificing everything about the game to just get money? Because, yeah, they're like, oh, well, you're not going to have revenue in the stands. No, you won't. But they're also talking about, and what they're really looking at, what the real purpose here is, they're going to be selling these games to major outlets. It's not just going to be SNY. It's going to be ESPN, FS Sports, whatever else, Turner Broadcasting, ABC, NBC, Fox, this, that, and the other friggin' thing. They're all going to be bidding for this, and that's ad sale revenue. And I've worked at Turner Broadcasting. I worked in television for 20 years. Not right now, but I did. And ad sales is a cash cow. And that's what they're going to bring in to make up their revenue. And that's what, in my opinion, it comes down to, because they're putting people at risk. And I am appalled by this. I'm done.
That was a great man. But I 100% agree with you. Like, when I saw the update on Instagram yesterday, I was just like, hold on, wait a second. Like, first of all, it sounds too good to be true that you're going to have 30 teams. Like, this isn't a video game where you can just have virtual players and you can just be like, oh, I'm swapping this guy for this guy in case they get sick or whatever the case is. Like, you're dealing with actual people. And aside from the 40-man roster, you still have the trainers, the coaches, everyone else. So it honestly, it doesn't seem like it's makes any sense, to be honest.
And it's not just them.
It doesn't seem safe.
What's that?
To me, it doesn't seem safe because I'm kind of wondering what the families of the players and of the managers and the coaches and the staff and what everybody thinks about this. Because again, we are talking about 4.5 months being away from their families, but at the same time, like, who's getting exposed to what, and are you putting people at risk? And at the end of the day, are these essential workers who need to be out there? They don't. They really don't.
And then you're talking about security and the guys doing the camera work and the guys and the gals doing camera, doing security, in the production truck. I mean, Gary, Keith, and Ron can do it remotely based on whatever feed they get. But like, is that feasible? What about reporters? Are they doing virtual conferences? It's just, and those are people who don't
There's
make
a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, they make this much compared to what the minimum wage player is going to make. I forget what the owner's going to make off of this. These security guys and gals don't make, but they're going to be at risk.
To be honest, I think they should stick with the idea of June being more of a possibility, and again, take this day by day and see where the country is at as a whole. Because again, you know, New York has been the one that's been hit the most, but does that mean the other states are going to be seeing this at a later turn than, you know, what New York has seen? And
how the world goes. A lot of these guys, they're international players. They have families who travel back and forth from places.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, I can understand maybe laying down some laws to say, listen, you and your immediate family, once the season starts, needs to restrict all your international travel. It needs to be approved by MLB to make sure we're not putting you guys at risk and then causing an outbreak within the league. That would be responsible. But
again, it's still a lot of moving pieces to handle, and who is going to be identified to specifically say, okay, Robinson Cano, like, you can't go back to DR. Mm-hmm. Or who's going to actually be paying attention to this? Who's going to literally say, no, you can't get on your private jet and go to this private island that you own?
Like with everything, it'll be Joe Torre. They'll let his favorite players go and his least favorite players stay. I think it's just wholly selfish. And if they do it, Rob Manfred and all the owners and all their families should have to be at the stadium for every single game.
And they should be held responsible for those people who end up getting the coronavirus as a result, and should be responsible for taking care of their medical bills.
And the fact that the health organizations are supporting this.
Yeah, it's a no for me. I could wait.
Yeah,
I'll play video game. I'll play MLB The Show instead.
I'll take a no.
It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
All right.
So
And now, to return us to our regular scheduled programming, back to the pen. Very far away from each other, but still bringing you all the kinds of news. And Shane is apparently missing all of you.
no.
All right. So
I'm reverse.
Huh?
My computer records me as reverse, so I'm reverse, man. So when I look like I'm missing you, I really don't want to be anywhere near everybody. So.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. So starting off, Trump actually spoke to the commissioners of the country's sports leagues. They spoke Saturday about when they can essentially be starting their season. So they did discuss that the NFL will actually be starting September 10th. And Trump wanted to tip his hats off to everyone and all of the good work that's being done by the many teams and the players to care for their communities. And in return, they thanked Trump for his interest. So what do you guys feel about what Trump said?
Well, with what he said, I mean, all the commissioners do deserve the praise that they're getting for trying to help out with the COVID response. He said that the NFL season will come back in time, so that's assuming with training camp that starts at the end of July to August, and the regular season will be in September. So if we go off that math, then we'll probably see baseball happen in the late summer. What do you guys think?
Well, hang on. Let me take a drink before this one. Leaving politics out of it, I echo Victor. I agree 100% that the owners and the commissioners and whatnot mostly deserve praise for what they've done. Not every owner, James Dolan, and not to single James Dolan out, but James Dolan. But the commissioners have done a hell of a job.
What was that name again?
James Dolan. The commissioners have done a hell of a job, as have most of the owners, and they do deserve praise. Again, leaving politics out of it, I think this is way too premature. We don't know if we've hit an apex. We don't know where we're really truly at. Numbers are slowly improving, thank God. But the scientists are still saying that this may be Fauci said we're struggling to get this under control. You cannot have someone saying we're getting the number one guy say we can't get this under control, and then be like, let's make sure we start everything soon, on time. Let's get the ball rolling. Wait till everyone's taken care of. Wait till the situation's actually under control. I think it's just very premature.
Well, so you're not the only one who's thinking that things are premature. Ron Darling is also losing some optimism that baseball will be returning this year. You had a few quotes from him, Shane?
I did. This is in the New York Post on April 4th. And, quote, I would always try to err that all of our people are taken care of and protected before I decide to play any sport. That's not baseball or basketball or hockey. That's all sports. We have taken care of the citizen, but have we taken care of the citizens and made sure that they are on the right track? When they are on the right track, then we will give them something to watch. He goes on to say that what happens if one of the 26 players tests positive 2 weeks after you started the season? What are you going to do in places where games aren't going to be played? There's just so many challenges, and I would say I was very optimistic when this thing started that at some point we would find a lane to play a season that would be representative of a baseball season. But as each day goes on, I get less and less optimistic. There are so many obstacles, and I just think it takes a village to put on a baseball game, and that is without people in the crowd. At some point, you are putting a lot of people together. You're in locker rooms that couldn't be any closer space for guys to be together in, and let's use whatever energies, resources, let's do whatever we can to take care of the people that love baseball. And once we have them taken care of and on the mend and protected, then let's think about throwing a pitch and hitting a ball. And, he goes on with other stuff, praising Rob Manfred. And he says that he thinks, to paraphrase, that the guys are staying in shape as they should. And he thinks you only pretty much would need 2 seasons to get them prepped for the season. But, of course, that may also lead to injury. So he, like myself, is erring on the side of caution in his mind. What do you guys think?
Yeah, to be honest, now that you hear it, it's realistic, to be honest. We probably won't be seeing baseball anytime soon, and if there is a push for it, who knows how realistic and how all the logistics would work, because right now we're recording this on April 6th, so right now we should have been in our first week and a half of baseball. Clearly that's not happening. I mean, even New York State itself, it's been shut down or on pause to say up until April 29th, but all these things keep changing, especially, you got to take these things day by day.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, I still hold some optimism because I would like to see a season this year. There have been some people like Scott Boras who came up with a functional isolation plan, essentially to restart the season in short order, where essentially you're isolating or confining the healthy players and play in a stadium without the fans so that it can be aired on TV so that people can still have sports in some way. But obviously you have to think about it this way. One sick player can easily grind everything to a halt. So again, it's still taking things day by day.
And it's not just the players, that's security, that's camera, that's crew, that's director, and then they're traveling. Most teams do have their own planes, but the trucks have to drive. They have to drive to the next state to do it overnight. They're not stopping to take a pee-pee. You're talking about, I don't know. I would like to see Boris's plan to see how truly thought out that was. Maybe if you're talking about one feed from the home team networks, maybe that would work to minimize people. But then, I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know. That seems a little wishful thinking and probably only thinking of the people who are making the higher dollar being protected and not the common person.
At this stage, anything that they come up with is wishful thinking, because we are just taking this day to day. We don't know when it's going to end. Our numbers are looking better, but when does that mean that the numbers are going to look better for the entire country? New York is in a drastic state right now in comparison to the rest of the country, but does that also mean that the rest of the country is going to get hit later?
Yeah, so, well, time will tell. I think it's just hopeful thinking and trying to give some people something positive to think about.
All right, so hopefully positive thinking. Players have been doing some cameos, or at least advertising for some of the cameos. Now, albeit some of them have been doing it and then saying that some of their proceeds are going to be going to some of their foundations. So, Shane, I know you had a lot to say.
Well, let's explain to people what Cameo is for those who don't know what it is.
Okay, so essentially a cameo is kind of like how Thor showed up on a Game of Thrones episode, and they kind of just show, he was, did you not know that?
I knew it was a Game of Thrones, but it's I'm not saying define what a cameo is. I know what a cameo in a movie is.
Defining what
Hey.
Let the angel talk, because right now, Victor, you look like an angel with that white shirt on and the sunlight.
Just add a halo above his head with some coins holding it up.
We'll put it in post.
I have good lighting by my window, so I'm taking advantage of it. So Cameo is pretty much an app. It's where any celebrity or person will record themselves. They'll say a shout-out message. They'll sing a song to you, whatever the case may be. And it's usually a short span, anything from 15 to 60 seconds. And then you pay them, and then you could have them do it with the dedication or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So then there were a couple Mets players like Pete Alonso and Jeff McNeil who are doing this. And I don't know, I'm not really a big fan. I feel like it's a little pricey for $200.
Well, Pete's 200, and McNeil, my name is Jeff, is, can we get him my name is Jeff, Victor?
My name is Jeff.
Yeah, see, we haven't had that in a long time. I missed that. And McNeil is $100. Now, Alonso's the one that says a portion of the proceeds are going to whatever.
Well, so McNeil also is asking people to donate to the CDP, the Center of Disaster Philanthropy, and in return, they're getting a raffle ticket to win a pair of signed cleats. So.
But does that have anything to do with Cameo, though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I mean, that's nice, but it's still $100.
What am I going to do with Jeff McNeil's cleats? I can't wear them. What am I just going to look at this guy's dirty shoes?
The hope would be that you would get a pair of cleats that you could wear, that was your size, and that he would just sign those.
No, but I don't know. I feel like the whole premise, I don't like the idea.
I think they're bored, for one. I think they're very, very bored.
Or they're trying to make money because their salaries are cut by how much?
They're still making more money than we're going to see in a year to stay home. If there's no season, they're getting paid to go to the gym. They're okay. They're okay. Especially Alonso. You get money from the home run derby. You get money for things. Like, he's all right. He's all right. I think $200 is like, that's just, how much, Victor and I was, I think all three of us were saying, but I know I was like, he better donate like at least 40, 50%. And Victor was like, what did you say? You were like, hell no, it needs to be 80%.
Actually, so that's interesting.
What's that?
I don't think it's specified on his post how much is actually going to the foundation.
Like, Victor, what was the amount you said? Like 80% or something like that, right?
Or what? That he's keeping?
No, that he should donate.
No, that he's giving.
I have no idea.
But you said you think it should be higher. I was saying something in our group text.
Absolutely, but who knows? I mean, first of all, who knows how many requests he's received through a Cameo.
Yeah.
And
There's gotten testimonials. Oh, it's the greatest thing. The kids loved it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll pass on it for sure.
It's a little vain. I mean, people like Curtis Granderson, who are retired, are like 175. But like, he had a long and fruitful career. And I feel like two guys who are pretty much in the starts of their career. I mean, Alonso achieved some magnificent things last year. But before you charge $200, you need longevity and you need a presence. You need to have been further along in your career, I feel like. And they're only doing it because they're home and they're bored. Because they weren't on there before the quarantine, before the isolation. They weren't on there, so.
Well, they're trying in some fashion to stay some sort of busy. So, in the sake of being busy, some people have been going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about how the black jerseys should be brought back. Now, before COVID, we've seen some tweets from like Alonso, who has been kind of hinting for the Mets to bring them back. Stroman tweeted about it. JD Davis and Dom Smith went on the Cookie Club. And they actually said that they would like a chance to wear the jerseys as well, and that they should be bringing them back every so often. So how do you guys feel about the black jerseys?
I like the idea of bringing them back. I think they're a fun nod to the late 90s Mets, early 2000s, and the fans seem to love them, and I feel like there would be a great thing to buy, and I'm all for it. I
agree 1,000,000,000%, especially, like, I know for Victor, that was the jersey you kind of were raised on almost. Like, your introduction to the team was around that time, right? Around there?
Yeah.
So, like, I know, like, that's one that's probably... Yeah. So, like, it's pretty close. And the first jersey you ever had was not the black jersey, but was a Beltran jersey. So, the BP black jersey, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it touches people's hearts. I think it's a great idea. I mean, Andy Martino thinks that it's a bad idea, but Andy Martino is a bad idea to most Mets fans, as I pointed out on Twitter. But I think baseball, quote, purists tend not to like it. They want, like, Gary, Keith, and Ron are always how ugly the black jersey is. They go on and on about it, and they just want to keep the pinstripes and the grays. They don't like the blue jerseys. They don't like anything alternate. They just want the pinstripes and the grays. And I'm like, that's boring. But I know the younger generation loves it. So there's most of the time there's 162 games. There's enough time and room for everything we've ever worn to be worn and worn a lot. What do you think, Ashley?
I actually personally like the black jerseys very much, and I would wish they would come back very soon.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, I was talking about how the Reds did it in I think it was 2015. Or where they wore like a throwback jersey. I think it was like every Sunday game or whatever the case was. A fun thing for fans to see. Something different, of course.
Like, we did that in 2016. Every 10 years we do that with the 86 jersey, even though I don't like the way that looks because on the new material it looks kind of like shabby. But like the Astros do it almost every week. They do the Milwaukee Brewers do the MB and the glove formation all the time. There's, like you said, there's more than enough time to do it, and they should do it every Sunday or maybe Saturday. Maybe black is Saturday and blue is Saturday.
There should be a day or maybe like something in the schedule that says, okay, everyone's going to wear black today or everyone's going to wear blue today. Like something, I don't know, to rally everyone to be more appreciative of the jerseys.
I think if you're at home, the weekdays, you got the pinstripes. Until Friday, you have Black Friday, no pun intended. Saturday, you got the blue. And Sunday, you have the 86 jersey. And then if you're on the road, you do the alternates of those. Why not? And then the weekdays are for the pinstripes.
I like that.
What do you think, Victor? Would you like that?
I'm down for it, yeah. Especially, I think it'll bring fans to the park. So,
And
yeah.
create more revenue because that's all they care about.
Oh, yeah.
You sell them black jerseys again, people are going to be soaking them up with a biscuit.
Do you
Absolutely.
hear that, Will Pons? Do you hear that?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, cha-ching.
Take a hint, take some notes.
Cha-ching. But we have our own favorite jerseys. So, Ashley, would you like to go into your third favorite Mets jersey?
My third favorite would be the blue alternative jersey.
Why did you tell me it out of order then on text message so that I did not put up the right one?
I put it in order from top, like 1, 2, 3.
All right, well, say that again. I'm not editing that out. There, it's on the screen. Go ahead. Talk about the alternate road jersey.
Okay, so my third would be the blue alternate jersey. My second would be the pinstripe, and my first would be black. Black like my soul and all that.
Okay, cool.
Got the graphics chain.
Let's go to a man
Yeah,
who had it correct. Victor, what is...
I should have given you numbers. That was like number 1, black. Number 2.
Like you're
That's
putting it in a
correct.
certain order. That's what Victor did. Victor gave it to me, no problem. So,
All
you know.
right, so start off with
You did not specify top to.
You know what? There are days. Anyway, so Victor, you go into yours, sir. Honorable mention for Victor.
Well, in the text that I got, he said, "What are your top 3, and what would your honorable mention jerseys be?" So I listed 1, 2, 3, and then honorable mention.
That's what I did.
Anyways, honorable mention was the '86 batting practice pullover jersey. So
You have the one.
I have one of those. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That one they remade it, I think, by Mitchell and Ness.
Mhm.
So then number 3 going into that is the blue Mets alternative jersey. The number 2 choice is the away 1980s gray pullover with New York written in script. And then the number 1 would be the away Mets black jersey.
Very nice choices. Very nice choices. My honorable mention, although when you mentioned the 86, like the 80s batting practice jersey, I do love those. They're so, I mean, if you did it in today's material, it'd be great. I just don't like how heavy they are. But my honorable mention is, of course, the 86 jersey because I grew up on that. That's when my introduction to the team was. I love that jersey. It's hot as hell because it's wool. But I can't imagine playing in 100-degree weather in wool. I don't know how they did it, but that's my honorable mention. Yeah. The second honorable mention would be the one you mentioned, the batting practice. Number 3 would be the black home jerseys, the ones everyone wants to bring back. Love them, miss them. My number 2 jersey is the Mets alternate blue home jersey with the Mets written on the front. And then my number 1 is the Mets blue away road jerseys. I have this one that has New York written in gray across. I love the way the gray looks inside the orange. You take away the white outline. I think these are just beautiful.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I do like it.
It looks really good.
It is good. It is good. Though the lighting doesn't do it justice here. It looks almost white inside, but it's really great.
Yeah.
As I touch my nipple. But I think we can all agree, though, even though you guys can't see it there, the best Mets jersey of all time is the Mercury Mets jersey.
Yes.
Which, I mean, Victor, you know about that. You look a little, what is that, right?
Yeah, I'm actually Googling it right now.
It is. It is. They did some promotion back in the, I think, late 90s, early 2000s that were basically like make them sci-fi thing, but the jerseys of the future. And it is the ugliest thing in the world where the names are written down the side and the back. It says Mercury Mets and there's the Mercury symbol. It looks like a football, but it's really the moon. It is, but it's been voted by many people as the ugliest one of that competition, which I would have to agree. I would have to agree.
It looks like they designed it in Word.
And like they just tried to put things the wrong way.
No, and then they went, like they realized they couldn't print them out, so they went to Michael's and then kind of bought all these weird text and different typefaces to kind of put them all around, and then they put this weird graphic, like you said. Yeah, wow, this is like raw reaction to how bad it is.
I want to know how many they sold of those jerseys.
Every once in a while, I'll catch someone wearing it at the stadium. I will. Victor, look up real quick how much it is online.
Yeah.
Shopping. Let's see. Mercury Mets jersey. Someone's selling it a used one for $599. It's a might.
Well, because you have to think about it this way. They probably didn't sell a lot of them, so they're probably worth more because they weren't as mass produced.
They're
so
worse.
I get that. But how many people are actually buying them?
They're worse than the player jerseys from last year. The ones with the players.
It's only a one that I see. It's only one hit that I see on eBay. So no, I wouldn't. This is a terrible jersey. We could probably make our own and sell them.
Here's a good question: would you rather spend the $200 for Alonso to give you a cameo, or the $500 for that Mercury Mets to hang it up and be like, look at this piece of ugly in the corner?
Alonso.
I'd rather save my money and not spend anything.
Fair.
I think that's fair too.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's a wrap for the show.
It's a quickie.
I mean, anything. Our meme went up with DW, the one where she's behind the fence. So thank you for all the like and appreciation on that. And that's our show for today.
Yeah.
All right. So stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, respect the social distancing, do the 6 feet, stay away from the people that you care about so that we can see them a lot sooner.
Or just stay home. Unless you have to go out.
Yeah.
Which is easiest. But selfishly, follow us on all our platforms. Instagram, of course. Victor's memes are brilliant. Twitter, if you like any of my rants, I put them up there quite often in verbal and in text, of course. What else are we on, guys and gals?
Sorry, you probably
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Apple Podcasts.
There you go.
And Apple Pie.
Yeah. So for Standing Room Only, I'm Shane.
Victor.
And I'm Ashley.
Stay safe.
Oh shit, my papers.
Here.
There we go.
Black.